on the other end, so you can hear it through that wood. You better right by the car.
Well, yeah, they never has to be touched.
When's he on?
They can say, hey, look, we need to do this. They did. They said last time they were here, Saturday day. Well, that's the thing, though. Tennessee don't borrow money. Anyway, just put it to cents tomorrow. I'll put it down.
I'm just going to sit right here if you want.
That's the story we talked about. We got approved.
Well, good. I ain't talking to probably him last meeting. I'm willing to.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it so far. I was kind of worried what it was going to be when I seen it.
Yeah.
I thought, boy, they're fixing to get my meters.
I got a note at the house that said you need to come pick up a letter from UMTEC. What have I done? What's the election commission? Well, her sister. Anybody else interested in this position?
6 o'clock, time to carry me. 5 o'clock, we're going fast.
Call the meeting to order. We've got a good number here tonight. And before we start, we're going to start with a prayer. Brother Ralph Richardson from the New Hope Church of Christ in the Readable community is going to lead us in prayer, and we'll stand before that. And then after that, Brother Corey Davenport is going to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Pray together. Father in heaven, we thank you for today. We thank you, Lord, for all the ways that you bless us and care for us. And Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together, that we can discuss matters in our community. Father, we pray that we'll do so in a way that please you. And Father, we just ask that you'll be with each one of us, be with our leaders of this county, and help them, Lord, to look to you for guidance in all that they do. Lord, we love you, and we thank you so much for your Son, Jesus, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Bobby, at this time, we'll call the roll.
Mark Barker.
Present.
Russell Lee. Here. Todd Oliver.
Here.
Jimmy Nichols.
Here.
Jim Bush.
Here.
Kevin George. Glenn Higgins. Tony Neal.
Here.
Jim Jones. We've got 6 present.
All right. Before we do the 5th District Commissioner, since our September meeting, we lost one of our commissioners. I'm sure you all know Bob Stetzel was a good man. He was fiercely patriotic, and he faced every task that he was faced with enthusiasm. He was also a man of integrity, not afraid to ever take a stand for what he thought was right. But one of the main things I was impressed with Bob was that he was big enough to publicly admit when he thought he had made a mistake. And that made him a big man in my eyes. He'll sorely be missed. And some of his family, his wife Teresa is here with us tonight. And we've got just a small token here, a plaque in his memory that I'd like to present from the commissioners here and the people in the courthouse for Teresa. Teresa, would you stand, please? We'd like for you to take this home. And Bob was a public servant all of his life. Thank you very much for coming tonight. The rest of Bob's family, you got anybody right there? Yeah. Well, there's your employer. He's taking a picture. You get a picture of them, not me. Y'all all get up. I appreciate y'all taking time to come. The next thing on our agenda is to appoint a commissioner for the 5th District. And as I said last month, a nomination does not need a second. So we don't have to second the nominations, but if we make a motion, we'll need a second for that. Does anybody want to nominate anyone for 5th District Commissioner?
Yes, I've been put in the awkward position of having 2 people to ask me to nominate them. I have checked with Mike, and he checked with CTAS and said there is no standing rule that one commissioner cannot nominate more than one. If it is acceptable, I would like to put the 2 names in to be nominated. Anybody object?
No. No.
Okay, Chuck Holt, Walter Holt had asked me to nominate him, and Andy Parker had asked me to nominate him.
Both of them live in the 5th District.
Both of them live in the 5th District.
Are there any other nominations?
All right, before we get started on this, now if we'll go back to our last minutes, all the way up to when we had our first passing of a commissioner, we all agreed at that time that whoever was in line during the voting process of the people, that it would go in that line. You know, whoever was the next in line, it was done with Kevin Mooneyham, and so on. So now, why are we wanting to change up now?
I don't think everybody agreed with that.
Well, why did everybody go along with it? Why didn't somebody say something at that time?
Everybody didn't go along.
I mean, as far as Mr. Quimbley, you know, I mean, it just went on from there. And that's the way it's always been since Mr. Quimbley.
There were some voted for Mr. Jones because they didn't like the other candidate, regardless of whether he ran or not.
We're going back in before Mr. Johnson.
I know.
Did you have a nomination to make?
Well, I mean, the next one in line was Mr. Falls, wasn't it?
I don't know how. I haven't researched
Well, I
what the
mean,
vote
yeah.
was. Greg
I mean, you
Falls
know,
was
they-
here last month. Greg, you here tonight?
I can tell you it was, because I looked at the.
Okay.
Right. I
That's
mean, you know,
fine.
he was the next one in line.
Well, that is immaterial. As far as not getting him nominated here, does anybody want to nominate him?
Yeah, I nominated.
Okay. Greg Falls has been nominated.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Bill Melton called my office and asked that his name be considered this way. Bill Melton.
Okay. Does any commissioner want to nominate Bill Melton?
Is Bill Melton here?
I haven't seen him.
He wasn't here last month either. Now, last month, there was a little bit of mix-up because we didn't hardly have enough days after it had been published in the Courier, because we had a meeting on Saturday.
Yeah, it was
Anyhow,
on Saturday.
we didn't- yeah, our meeting was on Saturday instead of Tuesday, and we lacked today. But that's both Chuck Holt and Greg Falls were here last month. Chuck Holt is here tonight. Chuck, would you stand? And where's Andy Parker? Andy here? No, don't see Andy. Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Do you want to say anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. We've got four that have expressed interest in it, and Russell has nominated 2. I need to check on my parliamentary procedure if a person can nominate two. Did you check on that?
Mike, I talked to Mike and he talked.
Can the
with
same
Mr.
person
Rogers.
nominate two people in the same meeting?
Unless you have a written policy that prohibits it.
Okay,
Now,
well,
I would, after talking to Ben Rogers, I would recommend after this that we come up with a written procedure for the future. Right now, technically, you can do it any way you want to, but that could.
well, it has to be somebody that lives in the 5th district.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the laws have to apply, but.
And we, and Bob Stetzel had stated a couple of years ago, and I reiterated that 2 months ago, that we'd go by Robert's Rules of Order in the way that we did our meetings. All right, we've got 3 that have been nominated. Chuck Holt, Greg Falls, Andy Parker. Do I hear a motion for the nominations to cease?
I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded that the nominations cease. So we got 3 actual nominees, Chuck, Greg, and Andy. Call the roll, Bobby.
I'm gonna
Wait.
go.
Wait 1 minute before we do this.
Okay,
Chuck's the only one here.
that's right.
Has anybody got a letter written stating that the people that's been nominated will take the office?
Well, Greg was here last time, and he,
But it states in the TCA codes that they need to be present, or they got to have a letter of contempt saying that they will take the chair if elected.
okay,
You would think if they were interested, they'd be here.
that's right. And Greg, and Chuck is here. So we know we have one here that is
Right.
willing to take it. Anything else?
So in that case, that's the only one that's eligible to vote on. According to TCA codes, that's what it's stated.
It'll also take all 6 of you to appoint anyone.
No, actually, that's not right either. You take away the absent chair, which
Now, according to
would be
CTAS,
5. That's in the letter here too. You want to see it?
yeah,
CTAC said.
Yeah.
Under the C, right there, I got it starting in parentheses. You got to have majority. Majority of 9 would be 5.
Majority.
Councilman, I'm counted out, right?
No, you're, but you got an absent.
Oh, we got to
So you
absent.
got
Yeah,
absent,
oh, yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah. Go ahead.
We have 5 or 6.
Well, Jim's reading, let Jim get on.
It's still.
there's an erroneous time posted on the meeting too, on BRY's website.
Exactly.
6 o'clock.
Well, we can't control that.
I
The county clear said it's fine.
understand.
The, according to the way you read this, Tony, 5 will not elect
That's the
somebody.
way I understand it, yeah. Because you've got an empty chair, so you only got 9
Right.
people,
So
so
there's
you
only
get the
9 of us
majority
that-
of 9.
Only 9 of us can vote, so 5 is the majority. That's the way you read it? Okay. Jimmy, you need to look at it? All right. Any other discussion before we vote? Anybody? All right, Bobby, go ahead and call the
I'm
roll.
gonna call your name and you tell me. who
What
to
about
vote.
the other nominees, though? No one else is here, and no one else has a letter of contempt.
Well, we'll deal with that one to see who wins.
Okay. Mark Barker,
Chuck Holt,
Russell Reed,
Parker,
Todd Allenworth,
Chuck Holt.
Jimmy Mills,
Chuck Hope,
Jim Bush,
Mr. Falls,
Tony Neal.
Hang on.
Jim's there.
We got one more now.
Got one more, okay.
Jim, let me get you up to speed. You were here last time when we had the two men wanting to also be appointed to the seat. All right, Chuck Holt is here tonight, and his name has been placed in nomination. Two other men's names have been placed in nomination, Andy Parker and Greg Fall. All right, and you follow me?
Yep,
And you know Chuck Holt and Greg Fall both.
right.
And Andy Parker's also been nominated. All three of those have been nominated. And we are in the process of voting. Now, can you mark Jim present now on your
Yeah,
roll?
we'll
Okay.
put him in.
Well, I'm here.
That's right, you're here. The voting has already started. And 5 of us have voted. It's ready for Tony, and then you.
Chuck,
You vote. Who'd you vote for?
Chuck,
Oh, okay. Jim Jones, who you want to vote for?
Greg,
All right.
Falls. 1, 2, 3, 4. We ain't got enough.
Got 4 for Chuck, 2 for Greg, 1 for Andy.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to vote again? That's what we did last time.
Anybody want to change your vote? Guess I took care of it.
5th District gonna do that one?
I'll change mine to Chuck.
All right. Russell's gonna vote for Chuck Holt, and that gives him 5.
Let's put him in then.
Does that put him in according to everybody? And there's no need for him to have a letter, because he's here. Is that
Well,
correct?
sure, Chuck, now swear you in.
All right.
You can take a seat over here and vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna start.
that's what that is? Thank you, Chuck, for showing up. You can just sit wherever you want to now, but there's 3 seats left. Continuing on our agenda, you got the summary mailed to you. It was in another letter. Did everybody get the summary? And have a chance to look at it. Do I hear a motion that that's an accurate summary of the last meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Jim makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. Okay. Reports of the county officials. I don't think we had any this month. We'll move on down to number 7. We've got from the Tennessee Department of Transportation tonight with us, we've got Wes Hugan. And he's sitting right over here beside our state representative, Mark Potter. And we're glad that Mark helped us to facilitate, and the county executive's office also helped us facilitate getting Mr. Hugan here tonight. As you know, the TDOT 24 years ago turned the road to Murfreesboro into a 4-lane on a new route. And now they've been in the process of getting 4 lanes to McMinnville, and it's out from McMinnville to Centertown, and they're working on it. And they'll finally have to meet here in the middle somewhere. And with that, I'll turn it over to Wes.
Where do you want me to go, right here?
Right there's
Okay.
fine. Yes, sir.
First of all, I've got some maps I'd like to pass. I've got 6. I don't know how many commissioners were here. That's the projects we're building now. This is the map of the bypass. My name is Wes Huon. I'm a Chattanooga. Been with the department for 34 years this January. Appreciate you having me. First, I'd like to say I appreciate the way you start the meeting. Going to the Lord, seeking His wisdom, and pledging allegiance to our flags. I commend you for this. The maps I passed out were 6 maps of the project from here to McMinnville. The grade, drain, and base, a part of it to be finished this December, and then the paving project will finish up by September of 2014. They let that under a different contract. Our paving centers are going to close. You can't make pave under a certain degree, so we'll start back in the spring and do the paving job and pave it off. The bypass maps that I passed out, we have a transportation planning report we call TPR in '99. And the TPR recommended some alternates that we selected for an environmental document. You have to have an environmental document, and we had what's called an environmental assessment. And you make a determination in an environmental assessment, is there issues environmentally that you got to mitigate? Does it turn to environmental impact statement, or what's called finding of no significance? And so we had the FONSI, the finding of no significance impact, in January of 2006. This document's now approximately 8 years old. We didn't proceed any further with the project. We have the document, and that is all we have. With a recommendation that the bypass, if it was considered and built, would go to the south. But really what needs to happen, Cannon County needs to plug in with your regional planning organization, RPO, and make a determination if this project is significant for Cannon County, and you go forward, that it goes through the RPO process and be elevated to a number 1 status, or maybe number 2 status. You got to consider where TDOT is. We're a state with no debt as far as TDOT. We're number 2 in the nation as far as our highways. We're number 1 state with no debt. Number 1 state is Texas, and they got more debt than they can pay for. So, and also our funding bill is through September of 2014. And if Congress doesn't come up with a new funding bill, then we've got no mechanism to fund these projects. It's funded through gas tax. The gas tax has not been raised since '89. The gas tax collected, it goes to the federal authorities for Washington, D.C. Tennessee gets approximately 92% of the funds we see. So we're what's called a donor state. You think about right now, the average citizen driving 15,000 miles a year pays about $300 in gas tax. And now with our vehicles getting better fuel mileage, some people even driving electrical hybrid vehicles, we have less tax receipts to work with. So that's where we are. We have limited funds. We have no debt. And we're not going to go into debt. So we have an environmental document as far as we have for this bypass project. I'm available for questions.
Can I ask a question? You was talking about the gas tax. When Governor Bredesen was in there, didn't he take a portion of the gas tax and put it in the general fund?
At one time, I think part of the receipts that came back from Washington went into the general fund. I believe it did, but then they paid us back. Supposedly they paid us back.
Okay, but
I
as
believe
of,
that's true.
as of right now, though, we are getting what we're supposed to be getting out of
Yes,
it?
yes, we are.
Okay.
What is the step that we need to take as a commission? Do we need to meet with our county planning commission and a joint meeting and then make a recommendation to TDOT?
Yes, you need to meet with your planning commission and look at this alternate C and see if that's exactly where you feel like it needs to be. Is that really what you want to do?
There are two alternate Cs. One has got the environmental assessment and one hasn't. Is that right?
Yes, it's the one that was the further south one, the Boulder line, is the one in environmental documents is recommended. In the planning report is the other C, and environmentally they somehow decided to go further south about 2,000 feet.
Another question. Now, we're also assuming that the 4-lane from 24 out of Manchester will be connecting with this, right?
Yes, that would be an assumption that's valid.
Is it a valid one?
I say it would be, but right now you got to understand this.
Well, I'm understanding, but
Yes.
the reason why I'm asking that question, if that is what y'all, in the future, that the plans are, then, you know, the south side would be the most feasible way if you're going to connect 24. Because if you went on the other side, then you're going to have to be going over. Am I correct?
Well, it'd probably take further to get to it, yes.
Yes.
Be longer project.
Right.
Yes. But I wouldn't say naturally assume it'd be a 4-lane. That takes additional right-of-way. It takes much more expense. Is a 4-lane what is needed? So
They would address how much traffic it already has before they decide to put extra lanes, what you're
that's
saying.
correct. Right.
But right now, if you could come off here and get on 53 and go to 24, it would be better than what we have now.
Well, you need to consider what Woodbury and Cannon County needs, what they want.
You're closer to 24, go Mossburg.
Yeah, at our house. you are.
15,
No,
20
I'm
minutes
talking about
tops.
right here.
Oh, yeah, but if you were coming from McMinnville, you would. If you come from McMinnville, you got off over here.
If you come from McMinnville, when you hit Woodbury, you're just as close to 24 in Murfreesboro as you are from here. About 20 minutes tops.
Was,
Google will take it to Beach Grove.
yeah, Google will take you lots of ways, but was,
No wind situation.
One of the-
Going east or west on 25.
was one of the plans from the original design of the road coming from Rutherford County into Woodbury to go north?
Sir, I don't know if it was or not.
I know, but that was not taken into consideration on these alternates, I take it?
I don't know if it was or not. The environmental department's really run in Nashville, and usually we get it after it goes through environmental project, determined, and then we get a project and we develop it. So what original was there, I'm not sure. But my recommendation would to decide what kind of road you want, where you really want it, and go to the RPO. But understand
wait.
it's limited funds.
Wait a minute, you're gonna have to explain something. What's an RPO?
The Regional Planning Organization.
Okay, thank you,
You
sir.
have two committees there. There's a,
I'm not up on this alphabet soup that the government uses
I
in
understand,
Nashville.
I explained what I said, the Regional Planning
Thank you, sir.
earlier, that's the RPO.
I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention to that point.
There's two committees. The technical committee is your county highway superintendent is on that. The executive committee are your city and county mayors. And the technical committee makes a recommendation, then the executive committee votes on it. And then it gets elevated to Nashville as the projects for this regional planning organization, which is Center Hill, is the RPO. And I've got the contact list for your coordinators, y'all, if you're not aware of any coordinator is.
Any other questions for Wes?
Can I ask one?
Yeah. you can,
Just, it's a 4-lane from McMinnville to where it's at right now.
Yes.
You say they need to decide what kind of road they want.
Well, it's not a guarantee it'd be a 4-lane.
That was my next question.
and
So
that's-
you could actually do a 2-lane to connect to Murfreesboro.
That is possible. You gotta consider limited funds, what kind of traffic's gonna be on it, how much traffic.
So really, the designation is kind of secondary to deciding what kind of road they want first.
Right.
Okay.
We're not gonna go into debt, so. We have limited funds to work with, and if a community insists it's gotta be a 4-lane, and we don't have funds for a 4-lane, and some other community that needs it just as bad, they want a 2-lane, and most likelihood they'd get their 2-lane.
We've got plenty of examples around here of what a bypass does to a little town, and none of them are good examples.
The more roads you got, the better off you are. Any other questions for Wes? Anyone? We'll set up a meeting with the planning commission and highway department and then discuss it a little bit more and then make a recommendation. Mark Pody, would you like to say anything?
It is my understanding that TDOT is still short about $262 million from when it was borrowed or whatever, that I don't believe is getting back. We are going to be short at the end of September next year of about $900 million, unless Congress passes something. And from what it looks like, you know, probably we're going to go a year without any kind of federal funding of the $900 million, which means it's really going to cut into what we're doing. So any planning you're doing, we're talking 15 years or longer before we anticipate anything going, if it was going good right now. But I can tell you, unless we start something, it's not going to go anywhere. So you're laying the seeds for your kids and grandkids, what you're doing.
And it's going to be a while because, you know, as most of you know, the 4-lane to Murfreesboro came through our property, and that was 1980. 88 and 89, it was opened in 89, and they were talking 10 years, it was gonna be, you know, the McMinnville end. Well, that's ended up being 3 years. And so we need to get our name in the pot, that's what I think, because it's gonna be years down the road, and if we don't get our name in the pot, then it won't ever get in. Is there a difference now, the way TDOT works with local entities that it was in 1989?
Yes, we work through the RPOs.
Okay. And that wasn't in effect in 1988?
Not like it is now,
Okay.
that's correct.
That's,
And also the environmental document constraints are more rigid than they were before.
how long will this environmental assessment last? Is it, you said it was 8 years, I
It's
think?
8 years old,
All right,
10
will it
years.
last 10 years?
10 years is it, so we'll have to have a new environmental document.
And that'll cost money.
Yes, it'll cost
Okay.
money.
So, in my estimation, we need to expedite this.
Right, we need to call a meeting
Okay.
But
Okay.
with the planning commission.
like the representative said, expedited is 20 years.
You said the environmental plan's fixing to expire, right? Even if this is approved within the next year, will that environmental authorization plan still expire and a new one has to be done?
You have to reevaluate this document and they'll make a determination if it's still valid, and we'll have to have a new public meetings.
Whether you do it or not, still won't cost.
Any other questions, any commissioners for Mark Cody or Wes? Well, we're gonna get right on this, and we certainly appreciate you coming and giving us these maps. If you don't mind, leave them. Have you got any more?
No, but I can,
That's fine.
I can email these maps to you. I can
Okay.
email the environmental documents, the planning report.
We need to get some so we can give them to the planning commission and the highway department chairman.
Okay. If you just send me contact list.
Okay, that's fine. Is there anything else that y'all?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark, for having us.
Yes, sir.
All right, next we have number 8, we have a budget amendment. It was in your packet. It's from the election office. They got a state grant, $1,540. And there is the grant stapled to the back of it right there. It tells when it was. And then there, back of that, Diane has put $1,539.61 where it went into their account. Everybody see that? Got the original copy going into Wayne Prater's office, the county trustee. Are there any questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept this budget.
I say.
Todd made it, Jim Bush seconded it. Call the roll, Bobby.
Mark Barker,
Yes?
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Aldenwood,
Yes.
Jim Daniels,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Jim Jones,
Yes.
Walter. Oh,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, that's got that budget amendment. We also had a resolution here. A jail, did you do that, Sheriff? Yes. All right. I'm going to let Darrell Young, County Sheriff, talk about this resolution.
As y'all know, TCI is pushing everybody here to build a new jail. And it's coming, not tomorrow or next year or 2 years, but it's coming. Well, I've been trying to figure out ways to keep my taxes from going up as well as everybody else's. So I come up with the idea, and I presented to a couple of commissioners. They said get the C-task, and let's do it the right way and do a resolution on it. Well, I got the C-task, and I got a resolution here. I give everybody a copy that we take our commissary money instead of going to the general fund to be put in debt service. And if you read those down there, it's section 2, well, section 1, County Commission formally creates a capital project fund for the individual needed expansion of the county jail. 2, that the county commission commits future jail commissary revenues to the capital project fund for the purpose of preliminary architectural planning and engineering costs associated with the eventual expansion of the county jail. And we have to have a resolution to make this happen, and I want to donate or designate the commissary money to go in. It's not a whole lot. I don't know, I don't have the exact figures, but we went. We couldn't keep the back out of the jail, so we decided to beat them at their own game. We got the electronic cigarettes that we sell to inmates. It's kept our tobacco problem down tremendously. Well, this stuff is generating us money. We're bringing in over $1,000 a month just out of sales of those cigarettes. So why not let the offenders pay the bill? And that was my idea behind this. And I need the blessings of the county commission to do
it. Any questions for the sheriff?
Darrell? At there's some point where the number of inmates in a jail changes characteristic.
Oh, yeah.
You go from a jail to something else, don't you?
We're overcrowded now. That's the reason TCI is on us.
Yeah.
TCI would be glad if they wanted us to start some kind of future planning, and this would show us a good faith effort that we're making plans for the future, that we're designating some money to go to capital
We have to do a
improvements.
monthly report to TCI that we're making attempts in every effort to keep this project going, or they're going to decertify us. I'm not going to fight keep certification, I'm not gonna fight against certification. The drawback to the not being certified is, if we wind up with a federal lawsuit, they are not gonna stand up there with us in federal court saying that we're doing everything we can to keep our jail certified.
Doesn't that reduce the money on the state prisoners as well?
No,
It
we do
doesn't?
not lose nothing. We don't lose no money.
Okay.
We still get paid for state prisoners. But right now, under this plan of action that we're under, the state calls today, they want to know how many state inmates I got. You can't get rid of females. That's out of the question. Males, they call, and they may say, we'll take them all. We have to let them go. They have to go. I don't have no other choice. The females, we're lucky we got a great working relationship with Hickman County Sheriff's Department jail down there. And when they have openings for females, they'll usually take anywhere from 2 to 6 at a time. But right now, my female population has fell down. We got 8 beds for females. We've got 10 in there right now. So for every bed I don't have and every person over, they're in the floor on the map. And I'll encourage anybody from here, county, I don't care, anybody, come and see what goes on at that jail. Just come see, come visit. Everybody thinks we're dollar and taxpayers to death. We are, but the state puts us under certain guidelines that we have to take care of these people. And the federal government puts us under certain guidelines that we have to meet certain standards for these people. TCI will stand up and tell you, or tell everybody in this county, that that's one of the cleanest jails that they've ever been in. I'm pretty particular about it. I don't live like a pig at home, and I ain't gonna live like one over here at the jail. It's y'all just got me hard to take care of it right now.
Most jails have a smell. That one does not.
It don't. We use a lot of bleach. You might smell bleach over there.
Yeah.
But we've got things working that ain't worked in years over there. Exhaust fan. This capital outlay project that we've done a lot of work. We've got everything back up and running, and when we can use them exhaust fans, we pull a lot of stuff out of that air that would spread around that jail, keep people sick. But I'm just trying to find ways to save money, keep me from having to pay higher taxes, and keep y'all from having to pay higher taxes. It's coming where I'm sitting there, or y'all sitting at that table, but it's coming. And there ain't nothing we can do about it with Bill.
Any questions for the sheriff?
You say those electronic cigarettes are bringing in $1,000 a month?
Yeah, better than $1,000.
And they're keeping everybody calm too, aren't you?
We don't have any other trouble.
And there ain't no mess to clean up from.
None. They're not burning outlets out trying to pop light a mattress or whatever they can get to roll up the smoke on. And the books, I took just about all the books out of the jail. Some people criticize me for it, but, and I'm gonna tell the citizens here something. When you walk in a jail cell and the little testaments that everybody wants a prisoner to have, I bet there ain't nobody in here that wouldn't say not to give it to them. But they tear the pages out, and they will tear their mats up, their clothes up, anything they can roll it up and smoke. I don't know how many outlets I've put in that building over there. Then they pushed me to the point I got a pink cell for the guys. They didn't believe me, but it happened. And they paid for it. Either they pay for it, they paint it, they clean it up, or I charge them with destruction of county property. So they decided they pay for it. Cost them $180 to paint everything in that cell. The beds are gray with the cell is pink. They don't like it. So I'm waiting on another cell to do it. It's gonna get a bright color. They don't like it, they can't cut the lights out without seeing the wall.
Did you get Airpow's permission for that?
No.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Looks like a good idea.
Do y'all want to act on this resolution in this meeting, or study it, or? It's up to the.
I make the motion. to
Well,
accept.
by it being a money matter and it not being on the agenda, do we have to put it off till next month's meeting?
It's not spending any money, it's just moving.
Just moving money
Yeah,
from one
it's
to the
moving
other?
it from the, it's making the commissary money go into a capital improvement fund,
Right.
what it does.
Okay,
Now, that's my answer to it.
yeah.
Any other questions?
I'll second.
Jim made a motion, Jim Bush made a motion, Russell Reed seconded. Call a roll. Russell
I did.
Reed?
Mark Barker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Osborne,
Yes.
Jim DeMille,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Tony Hill,
Yes.
Jim Jones,
Yes.
Walter O.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right.
Good idea, Sheriff.
What's that
I've got one more thing, if y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
2 minutes.
gonna be the number?
I don't know. That'll be something
On,
else.
we've got a litigation, equipment litigation tax. And, usually I'd let this build up, but right now I've got a GHSO grant to buy some video cameras for patrol cars. I can get 4 right now. But in this litigation fund line item, we got $6,739.38. I got Diane to give me a figure on it. These cameras are $2,500 a piece for each patrol cars. I can get 2 out of it. And I can finish getting the rest of them out of another grant next year. But I can't get the other grant till next October. To go to highway safety. And I would like to transfer out of that line item $5,000 to get those cameras. Now, do I need to, I have to do a budget amendment on it, but I need y'all's blessings to do this. I talked to Mike Corley about it today, and under the way it's written, I have to have y'all's permission.
To apply for the grant, or you've already got the grant.
I've already got that
Okay.
grant, that's Governor's Highway Safety Grant that we can get.
And Governor's Highway Safety money came into which county?
We got an equipment grant out of it and overtime grant. We got $8,000 in overtime on it. But we applied for the grant through Governor's Highway Safety Office. It's the first time Cannon County's got that big of a grant. But we're trying to get cameras for all patrol cars. The judges and the DAs constantly on our case because we don't have cameras. Everybody's going to cameras, but we're having to do it slow, a little bit at a time. And our representative with Governor's Highway Safety Office talked us into putting in for this grant. We thought we was gonna wind up with 6, but they cut everybody across the board on the grant, so we got money designated for 4 cameras. I already have one in the K-9 unit. And I need 10 altogether. But if I can get 2 more, that'll give me 7. That'll leave me 3 vehicles without cameras. And this is a litigation tax for equipment that's supposed to have been taken out years ago.
And that's the one you want to take it out of,
That's
right?
what I want to take out of it.
Got my blessing. Get your minute.
Get his amendment.
Get his minute.
You got a budget amendment now, or you gonna wait till next month?
I want y'all's blessings before we do the amendment.
Yeah, go ahead
Yeah,
and
mine.
get the
Yeah.
amendment.
Go ahead and get it.
Thank you.
We'll act on it as soon as we get it. All right, we're on number 9 now. Other business, and we've got something that's needs immediate attention. Each one of y'all got a certified letter from the electric company. They had to replace a pole that fell down at the ball fields. The wind probably took it down, but anyhow, we need to address that, and they've been in contact with Mike Gannon and told him what our options are. And I assume that that's why some of y'all are here. Okay.
Well, it happened since our last meeting. Our last meeting was a month ago, and this, what night did it fall down?
Halloween.
Halloween night. You sure a spook didn't knock it over?
Too bad.
Okay. Anyhow, we're gonna immediately address that, and they've already done some preliminary work, and I'm gonna let Mike Gannon explain what they've done.
Let me, I'll be as brief as possible, but the first field over there was built around 75 or 76. And the reason I remember that, I was coaching at that time, and several of us signed a note and built the building. So that means on field one, which I call the Little League, when you walk up to it, the one on the right, it's the poles there are older than any of the other fields. And so they're 38, 39 years old. So now, field two is we used to call it Babe Ruth League. I think that's the one that the high school has control of now. And it, if my memory serves me correctly, is the second oldest field over there. I could be wrong, but I think then 3 and 4 was built later, the two backfields. But even they are 25 years old, I'm sure. But the oldest one is the Little League field, and it's about 38 years old. At the time, we had a recreational grant that was offered, and I think we built that field for about $10,000. And the commission at the time gave us the right to use that property. And the county only put in, and this has been a long time, $1,500, and then the rest, it was like a $5,000 grant, and there's $2,000 or $3,000 that we borrowed and paid back through profits from the concession stand. So that's how you got your first field. And then as it grew, it was paid for through fees and concession stands, and this thing stands for 4 fields. Let's see, I don't know, Crystal called me sometime, Crystal Mason called me, and I think she's the president, head honcho, whatever, I don't know what your title is, but she's over, or was last year, and told me that we had a problem with the poles. Okay, when the season was over, one blew over. Of course, you got overhead wiring. One blew over. It didn't hurt anything, luckily, and one of the dugouts caught it. So John Barker was good enough to come up, disconnect the electricity, and take the pole down for us. Now, they're our poles. They do not belong to Middle Tennessee Electric. There's some of the poles over there that do, the ones with the transformer. I went over there today and asked the Parker and I walked around the whole thing. Field 1 has 6 poles, Field 2 has 8 poles, Field 3 has 6 poles, and Field 4 has 8. That's a total of 28 poles, light poles. Then there's 2 in the walkways, so that's 30. So yeah, that'll be a total of 30. And then, so while I was over there, we checked the horse arena, fairgrounds, and Ridge. And there's a 12 more there, 6 in the horse arena, 6 in the fairgrounds and Ridge. That's a total of 42 poles. How many are bad? I don't know. But if there's one bad, it's a big liability on the county because those poles do belong to us. They do not belong to Middle Tennessee. Now, I called John and asked for advice. And I asked him, he said they don't even set their own poles. They sub it out to a subcontractor. And that's fine. Usually, electric pole will cost $1,000 to $1,500 each.
That's a wood pole?
Wood pole. Metal is what I wish we had, of course, but it's just out of reach price-wise. And that's to get the old one up and put the new one in. Now, what I suggest to you, he's given me a contractor that will come out and physically inspect every pole out there, and then he'll come back and tell me how many need to be replaced now. There's a danger, maybe so many in 3 years or 2 years. I strongly recommend you do that for 2 reasons. Number one, you got 400 or 500 kids that participate out there that brings a lot of money to the town. I mean, they spend money while they're here. Some grandparents come from out of the county. So we can't really there's not an option, in my view, there's not an option to stop that. And I got a call from Channel 2. I don't know how this thing got blown all out of proportion, but I got a call from Channel 2 News last night, and they had been told that it was due to the fire over here on the square. And John Barker in Middle Tennessee Electric cut our electricity off because of this fire. And that we weren't going to, we the county, weren't going to reopen it. Let me say this. Middle Tennessee Electric has gone out of their way to assist us in this. They've done everything that John Barker has, and everybody with them, and they've even told me, said, we'll get contractors up there, and if you bid it, whatever. So I want to clear that rumor up. It's not due to the fire, and it's not, they didn't cut our electricity off until I asked them to, because I didn't want the pole fire to fall with live wires on it. Fortunately, we've got till spring to get fixed. Now, two things, we don't need to cut out the programs for the kids, and number two, it's a great liability. I'm asking for you to allow me, I'd like for you to allow me to call this Mr. Orlando Jordan, which is who John recommends, that's who checks their polls. Let him come over here and give me an estimate of what, and tell me what needs to be done, and then after that, of course, I can give you a figure then. It may be 10 poles, it may be 3, it may be all 42, I can't tell you. But I do know if you'll go over there, one of the big ones right behind the concession stand, you can take a screwdriver and stick it in 3-4 inches all the way around it. So that tells me that not much of that pole is holding. I would like, and they're nearly 40 years old, some of them. So, I mean, this time we replaced. So, with your blessing, I will contact this gentleman, find out how many we need to replace. What I would like to do, this is only a recommendation on my part, what I would like to do is for him to say, well, you've got to replace this many this year. You can wait till next year and replace a few more and then the next year. But if he, you know, I don't know that he'll do that. He may say you've got to replace this many.
We'll just go with what the inspector says.
Let's get him up here at mine and see what he says, and then let me, I'm certain it'll be over $10,000. I know there's enough poles that if it runs 1,000 apiece, there's going to be at least 10, in my opinion.
It's not like paving. It's not like paving. We can do this in wintertime.
Yes, and so there's nobody using the fields right now, and that's great. So if this had happened in the spring, we'd have had problems. But since it happened now, we were fortunate there. It may not be as expensive as we think, but with your blessing, I'll call this gentleman and get him up here, and I'll have a report. And I'm not going to wait for the next commission report. As soon as I get it, I'll send you a letter and tell you what, so you'll know. But we'll have to bid this if there's more than one provider in this area that's interested, because it'll be over $10,000 expense, I'm thinking. Do I have your permission or your encouragement to call this?
All right. We got a question or two, comments here. Go ahead, Jim.
All right. Since Crystal called me, I've done a lot of checking with the state. As of Monday, the state opened up a grant program. It's going through till January. It's going through the Clean Tennessee Energy Grant. It's a 50-50 grant up to $250,000. It can be used for recreational, it can be used for roofing, it can be used for lights, in any type of situation that we're looking at, okay? Mm-hmm. And I seen pictures there of where the roof is leaking here. The grant will be, it can go for it too.
What you said the name of the grant was?
Clean Tennessee Energy Grant. It's through the administration office of the TDEC. It started Monday, and the cutoff date is January. You can get online and you can fill out the grant application online. And if we could get this 50-50 grant, and if there's anything else like around the rec center that needs to be done, or whatever needs to be done, like I said, the cap is $250,000 and it's 50-50. So if we can get that, we could take care of a lot of other things besides taking care of the ball field.
Okay, that's something definitely we need to look into, but
But this grant has to be in motions now before it runs out, so we can make sure to get our money.
We are gonna have to do some work on the courthouse due to this, and the trim outside, it's breaking off right here. And if you'll remember, I come to you with that about a year ago, and I was told to get an estimate, and it was $30,000 to $35,000 to paint it and to do, and this building hadn't been painted 30 years, the trim I'm talking about. And to fix this, and to put rubber under the first 3 or 4 layers or rows of shingles or tiles, and then the gutters are concrete, and that was to put some kind of rubber membrane inside the gutter and up under the first 3 or 4 rows. So that's something, but I'll look into this tomorrow, this thing Jim's talking about. He said, okay, if I go ahead and get this, Mr. Jordan up here to inspect the poles.
I think
That's
so.
something, the courthouse is not a liability issue right now, it's just, it needs to be fixed because of we don't need the building to be damaged anymore, but these poles are a liability issue.
Well, the thing about it is, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, yeah.
With this grant.
Now, those-
I just brought that in. If we can get the grant money, then, yes, we're gonna take care of the ball field, but there's other things we can take care of too.
And it's a good point, I'm glad you brought that up, and I will check on it tomorrow. One thing I will tell you that I was, I guess it's okay to tell it, they haven't done a news release, have they, Mike, on the ambulance? May Beavers called me the other day, that was a CDBG grant, and we were, you remember, I asked for permission to apply for it to build a new ambulance center. And usually they call the local paper and radio station to make an announcement, but they did call me last Thursday or Friday, and we were funded. So hopefully in a year or so, we'll have a new ambulance center that everybody can be proud of.
That's good news.
So I'll check into this for Jim, or what Jim's talking about tomorrow, and I'll get back and I'll get this gentleman.
Wait right
How
there.
much was
Wait
that
right there
grant?
just a minute.
How much was that grant?
300.
300?
Anybody else got a question for Mike?
Well,
Who originally set those poles, Mike, you remember? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
the condition of those poles are easily checked. All I've ever seen have got a birth date stamped on them. I believe the utility companies generally replace them after 30 years. That's what they use.
The utility companies
says they have
don't
a
use
date
these
on 'em.
inspectors. They use these inspectors to tell them whether to replace them earlier or later than that.
I didn't know this. I was told the utility company has a subcontractor go out about every 5 years and dig around the edge
They
of
do.
the treatment
Yeah.
poles too. And had that, nobody knew that.
Okay.
When we put that up,
They don't always do that though. Any other questions for Mike about that?
Yeah, Chris.
Can I add something while we're
You
talking
may,
about
yes.
it?
I was gonna ask y'all if you want to say more.
I know that we're talking about the poles, but the lighting over there itself is almost obsolete. The lights are in very bad condition. There's some that don't even work, and I've had electricians go out and work on them several times. Part of the problem is that they're so old, all of the coating has wore off. So you've got exposed wires up there that are getting wet in the elements, and there's a metal pole that runs down the side of the electric poles. I'm really
Well,
surprised
Crystal-
somebody's not been electrocuted yet.
Well, see, the thing about it is, if there are gonna be new poles go up, there'll be new lights to go back up there.
So you're gonna look
Second
at-
thought, oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. Now, another thing you look at too, TVA has got a program on your lighting. Anything that saves electricity, they will give money into it. So that's another avenue that's opted with us, that we can go through TVA and get money through them, through your lighting program. But this 50-50 grant here, this will be the way to go. And, and with a $250,000 cap, we can go to aluminum poles, update your lighting, and you won't have to have as many poles as you did when you started. Say, instead of 30, you might wind up with 10 to 15. So, it'll all have to be looked at, but, the money's there. The money's there. It started Monday. All we got to do is apply for the grant, and then, you know, we can take care of a lot of stuff that way.
Well, there's a little more to it than that. You gotta be awarded the grant.
Well, sure, but we gotta apply for it
There'll be a
first.
lot of competition. And, but if we're awarded, even if we're not awarded or are, I think we should need to put the wiring underground. It won't be much more expense. We could run it underground. It would look nicer. Plus it takes some stress off the poles. But that's all. I'll get back with you with a report if there's no.
Okay. Anybody else got anything for Mike? Okay, go ahead, Mike, let me sit down. Any of you that utilize the ball fields, coaches, or anybody wants?
If this 50/50 grant, if we are not given the 50/50 grant, what is the commission's
We're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna put poles down there if we'd have to pay for it ourselves, what
Yeah.
we'll do.
You got to,
But we're gonna inspect them first though, and see how many need replacing.
That's all we need.
We would like to, my personal opinion, I'd like to get on the schedule to do it over 2 or 3 years, and that way it's not such a big budgeting issue. But if we had to do it in 1 year, but now the liability thing, we'll have to change.
Well, can you not address the ballpark and then the horse arena? I mean, I know that they use that
Well, the
up there,
ballpark is where
but we
the oldest poles
utilize it
are,
a
so
lot.
naturally you would address it first.
Yeah.
But while I got the inspector down there, I mean, if a pole falls on a kid, it doesn't matter if it's at ball field or at the horse arena, we're in trouble. So I wanna address the ball field first, but while he's there, we need to look at all. And there may be
Well,
some around the horse arena or the
And I
fairway.
understand that, but we pull a lot more people to our fields than that horse arena pulls to their horse arena. And if you ever come down there through the week, you'll notice.
I know how many you
The
pull,
numbers that we're pulling.
but the point is,
I know that you need to do it all.
yeah.
I get that. I get that.
So, I think they all need to be inspected, and any of them that pose a danger need to be replaced, no matter where they're at.
Would it be prudent, if you want to do the inspection over there, to have them do it at the football field at the same time, since you've got kids all around there too?
At the high school?
Yeah.
That's the school board's business.
Well, then how's it the county's business if CCHS owns the new youth field?
They don't
Just-
know.
They don't own
Just
it.
run it.
Yeah, just run it.
They run it, they don't own it.
They just got,
So the county's not liable if it falls up there at school?
Well, the school board first, they're the one, we don't wanna get in a
Just
turf war.
wondering. Thought it might be a good idea.
You know, well, I mean, you know, it's up to the school board to
I
make
can
their
have them
decisions.
check it if
I
it's
mean,
all
I
right
think it'd
with
be a
the
good
school.
idea.
I mean, you can talk to Barbara if she wants the inspector to go over
I
and.
don't want to step on.
While he's
her-
here,
About
that's what I'm
while he's
saying.
here.
Well, he's somebody that's around, he's around in the county.
That's a good thing.
That's his
I'll just
job.
call Barbara.
DeKalb telephone and Tennessee.
Anything else?
Yeah. Don't reckon. Anybody else from the ball?
Each one of the poles. You're talking 4 to 6 inches of line of that deep into each one of the poles. Wouldn't that be insurance liability, that your insurance and anything, if they did come down on a crowd?
None if you know it's rotten and you don't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody knows.
Now that we know about it, it's
Even
there.
if you don't know about it and it comes down and it's rotten,
Well,
it does void. that.
Insurance might pay off in that respect, but, you know, plus in a court of law, if we didn't know it,
Yeah.
we'd still be, but if you know it, it's a lot worse. It's a lot, you see
A
what
lot
I'm
more
saying?
standing on it.
And I'll tell you who told me that was John checked some of the posts, John Barker, and he said you could stick a screwdriver in
Yeah, you
4
do the
inches.
same thing out at our place. We
Yeah.
change bolts out
Yeah.
there when we first got
So,
it.
We
we
just
got
need to
time
work
to
on it.
fix it. We're lucky it happened when it did, but it's something got to be fixed before next year.
Okay. Anybody else from ball fields want to make a brief comment?
Is it prudent to say that we'll have this done before March? Because that's when we start.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think. Like I said earlier, it's not like paving, you can do poles in the wintertime.
Well, I understand that.
Yes.
First of all, I would say thank you, Mr. Bush, for finding them grants. I feel like somebody ought to be over finding grants every year, not only for poles and lights, maybe field upgrades, drainage, concession stand bathrooms. God knows we need them.
Do y'all have anybody that's got grant writing experience? Well, I mean, some ball groups do, you know.
We're working on that.
Okay.
The-
Well, we had the good
Probably-
news of the ambulance service grant. I mean, we, you know, so we've been writing grants and getting grants.
Well, I know a few years ago, $40,000 was passed over not to upgrade the lights. That's been a few years ago. I couldn't tell you the exact year, blah, blah, blah.
Because they didn't want to match it.
Well, maybe we didn't.
Probably, I don't know.
Then. But, you know, there's things, the city park, the basketball goals, the lights, poles around the basketball goals. I mean, my goodness, they were what, 70s put in?
Yeah, that's the city's business too.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, any kind of upgrade we can get or grant that comes across the table, who gets a red flag on that? Who gets a awareness that that money is available, that we can even discuss using it?
Didn't I understand that there was a Parks and Recreation Board that served
No,
under
there's
you
a,
guys?
it's a committee. It's called the Field Committee.
Who's on it? What is it?
You got yours, Russell? Oh, here it is.
Why can't those people work on flying?
Well, anything that they recommended would have to
We're
come to
not a
us, and
grant writer.
coming straight to us with this was faster than, you know, going through them.
Right.
This has
Well, we
been,
gotta
this has
be
been,
aware.
all right, it's,
You gotta have the knowledge of it.
For future
Tony Neal right there's on it. Wayne Prater, the county treasurer's on it. Bruce Stillman, the extension leader's on it. Benny Lance is on it, which used to work, or works for the highway department, and then Janice Higgins. And you know, it'd be,
There's a recreation committee.
and
I
there's
think,
that's the
so.
field committee, and then there's a recreation.
Recreation committee. I think that's what the gentleman's kind of referring to.
Matt, here's the recreation committee. Matt Bush, Tim Knox, Steve Smith, Cindy Taylor, Susan Melton. And
I mean,
they only meet as necessary, those do.
most towns have a Parks and Recreation Department
Mhm.
that apply for their grants. So why doesn't that happen here? I'm just asking.
Because we don't have the money. You want to volunteer your time to
Well, I
do
don't
that?
live here anymore, so.
Do those committees volunteer?
I'm already volunteered.
They volunteer.
Every committee volunteers their
I
time.
promise you, I volunteered as much as my time as you have.
And all the committees volunteer their time. Any other comments? We're down to other business still. Any more other business?
I've got one right here.
Jim's got one more.
All right, on October the 4th and 5th of 2013, Music in the Middle Festival was held at Short Mountain. Daryl's deputies and stuff, they worked overtime and everything to make sure everything was going all right as far as traffic and the people outside of the festival. It costed Daryl $3,589.62 to provide the service for the county, to make sure everything was going to be all right on the outside of the festival. Now, in saying that, this is taxpayers' money. And I should be well to believe that we should send them a bill for this overtime that the deputies had to work during that festival.
Anybody here from Short Mountain?
Me?
You don't see it?
Darrell, did y'all work that out before the festival started?
Nope. They was anticipating more people than what showed up. Our department, THP, lived on Short Mountain from Thursday till Sunday. And everything went smooth. We did have to go on the grounds each night for a different incident. They somehow left us out of the loop this time and promised it would never happen again, that we would be the first responders that would be coming in from now on instead of them going outside and hiring other agents.
Now, they paid the ambulance service workers for their service, okay? But they didn't pay for Darrell. So it's all but right.
I believe you asked them that.
Yes.
Yes.
I think they said right, didn't they say they were gonna pay? Didn't they say they were gonna keep him in the loop?
Well,
said that.
That the loop wasn't there.
It wasn't there. That's,
What I said and what happens is two different things.
So I'll make a recommendation, we send them a bill.
you make a motion, you mean?
Right.
I'll
Here a second?
Yes, sir.
All right. Call the roll, Bobby.
All right.
Russell did.
Mark Parker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Don Osborne,
Yes.
Henry Nagel.
Yes.
Bill Wood,
Yes.
Ronnie Neal,
Yes.
Jim Jones,
Yes.
Walter Holt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. We're gonna send the distillery a bill. Hope we get paid. Anything else under other business, any of you commissioners? Fire. Industrial board. Ambulance.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, yeah, one thing. We are currently sending minutes to some of you all, and we don't have valid addresses for some of you all. When I say minutes, I'm talking about the minutes for our industrial board meetings. Who here would like a copy of our minutes, and who will give us a valid email address? That's what we need.
Get with.
See me afterwards.
Yeah.
Get with the industrial board after. Randall will take it down, or Corey, either one. Where'd Ricky go? There you are, Ricky. Anything from the ambulance? And we got good news on a new location for you. That's really good. We got an excellent ambulance service here in Cannon County. Anybody else in the audience want to make a comment? Appreciate you coming. And if you have any you commissioners, if you have anything wants to put on the next month's agenda, get with Diane Hickman or myself, and we'll get it on there.
Did you put your email on there?
Yes. Yes, Mark Pody, go ahead.
Yeah, I did want to make sure that this Thursday night, 6 o'clock, we're doing the appreciation for all the first responders, the fire, the ambulance, the police, the sheriff's department. It's going to be a dinner. We'd love to have you all come if you can make it.
And that's at the
Community Center.
At the community center.
Appreciate the invite, but the wrong day of the week and the wrong time. Sorry, can't make it.
Anything else, Mark? Thank you for coming, and thank you all you citizens for coming. We're gonna do a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.